Asterisk, the Royal Union asterisk. This booklet contains a master class on Raja Yoga, offered as a contribution to the International Day of Yoga. Raja Yoga means Royal Union. It is the experience of the soul becoming free from negative influences through embracing the blueprint of its own original power. The class was given in Mount Abu, Rajasthan, by Dadi elder sister Ratan Mohini, now in her 100th year and perhaps the world's most experienced yogini. She has had almost 90 years as a student and teacher with the Brahma Kumaris, BK. The woman-led movement for spiritual renewal started in India in the mid-1930s. Born on 25 March 1925, she was barely 12 when she joined other founding sisters and brothers in 14 years of solitude and intense meditation before embarking on a lifetime of spiritual service. A teacher of teachers, she also traveled extensively and played a major role in establishing BK centers in many countries. In Madhuban, the BK headquarters in Mount Abu, Dadi was asked to explain the essence of yoga to hundreds of students from around the world, most of whom knew little of Indian culture. She made it plain that for the soul to free itself from past conditioning, an act of humility is required. This involves acknowledging that the ideas, beliefs, and opinions that each one of us lives with may be defective, and that to step into the mind of the Supreme Being, our source, we have to go into complete silence. That is, at certain times in meditation, it helps to stop thinking altogether, an unfamiliar idea for many. This stepping aside is not blind faith, but a deliberate act, born of trust and understanding. It enables love, peace, happiness, and wisdom to emerge from within. Dadi began with the greeting, Om Shanti, which means, I am a peaceful soul. Om Shanti. Who made this sound? Are you feeling that? When we sit for yoga, we have to emerge such a feeling inside of us. Who is the one listening, understanding, feeling? Just for a moment, step inside and experience the subtle energy of the one listening. This feeling will enable you to look through the eyes at everything around you in a detached way, with happiness. It is like when a tourist visits a foreign land and becomes happy at whatever he sees and whomever he meets. If you sit with this feeling, I am the soul, residing in this body, looking out through these eyes, you will feel detached from what is going on outside and experience happiness inside. You will also feel a very deep, subtle love from the Supreme, the Father of all souls, but you will only feel that when inside, the awareness has awakened of who I am. When we sit for yoga, the self has to realize the self, internally. Have I recognized my divinity? As a child of the Father, do I understand my own thoughts? Am I able to keep them consistent, constant, and on track for where I want to go? Or do unwanted things become mixed in my thoughts? Previously, I, the soul, became so mixed up with this body that I did not know which was which. I did not even know whether I am separate from it or combined with it. When I recognize that truly, I am the living being, residing in this body, it is as if the soul awakens inside. Then I create the thought, I have adopted this body, and I am looking out through these eyes. The continuing experience of detachment creates more and more happiness. Do you feel like that? Slowly, the soul is waking up. Can you feel it? Dadi was asked about a concept commonly shared by BKs, that the soul can be envisaged as a dimensionless point, from which light emerges. Was this accurate? The idea that the soul is a point of light is a means of explanation. Light means a feeling of easiness, and also of internal power. It is the light of so much knowledge. Because the soul is eternal, it has its own full knowledge of itself inside. When I understand myself in the reality of who I am, I must feel that light. The feelings are that I am knowledgeful, I am loveful, and I am very peaceful. When I am rooted in this experience of who I am internally, there is complete stillness inside. But it is filled with love, because I also have the knowledge that, as a soul, I am a child of the Supreme. I emerge the feeling that the Supreme Father is with me. Then internally I feel a quiet happiness, because while seeing everything through these eyes, I have this knowledge embedded in my feelings. In a practical way, I see everything as a detached observer. I have realized that I am the soul, distinct from the body, observing and interacting with the physical world through this body, but with the Father. This feeling emerges internal power. It is the power to control my thoughts. Whatever thought I choose to create, that will be the experience, with no other thought emerging. This is the original power of the soul. Raja Yoga means royal union. It is the experience of the soul becoming free from negative influences as it embraces the blueprint of its own original strength and be. Why is this? The reason is that you have not realized yourself, first, the soul. In the early days, when we received the knowledge of the soul, a deep love for silence was ignited inside. From that silence, whatever thread of thought emerged, it made us experience our own original stage of peace and purity. It's not enough just to tell yourself that you are a peaceful soul, a child of the Almighty. Words are not enough. When you deeply realize that yes, I, the soul, am a pure and peaceful being, that feeling brings a lot of happiness. I have to experience and realize my own peace and purity. When I sit in the silence of my own originality, no other thoughts can emerge, and with these feelings inside, I will experience the happiness of a meeting. The soul is extremely subtle, and it is deep sub-feelings that bring the realization of who I am. At such a time, I mustn't try to see or understand where the happiness comes from. That kind question cannot emerge in this state. When I act that kind of intellectual mechanism, it brings consciousness back into the gross state. It is useful to reflect and feel that the soul is even more subtle than thought. When I consider myself to be that subtle, my internal energy will emerge, and I will be able to go beyond the form of though. Sometimes we talk to ourselves by creating those, such as, I am a soul, a child of the Supreme, but that is gross, because thought involves the energy of soul and body mixed together. Look at electricity. It doesn't think, but it does its work to give light. That light is a power in itself, able to illuminate so much. In the same way, the light of the soul is a power that does not require thought. What kind of power? Peace, love, bliss, full knowledge. Even as I am talking to you, I am realizing this aspect deeply for myself. When we sit in meditation, we have to remember one thing, that at any moment, at any time, there is no question. We think we ask questions to try to understand something, but actually, a polarity is created. Your intellect is working off a different track at that moment. You are not realizing you are a soul. A soul is peaceful. There is no thought. When you experience the soul's qualities of deep peace, with love, bliss, happiness, and the power of complete knowledge, it brings a sparkle to your face. No matter who comes in front of you, you meet that person with a lot of love. Your vision becomes very subtle, and internally, if there are any thoughts, they are so subtle that they can't be spoken. This stage may not stay for long, but it is very important to be able to create it for ourselves, to go deep inside and understand ourselves in this way. Such a stage automatically transforms our inner world. Thoughts create a curtain over the power and energy of the soul. If you continue to think a lot, you diminish that energy. Gross physical consciousness has become natural to us because we have lived with it for a long time. Our subtle form is there, but forgotten. And because it's lost, we have to take the time to go deep inside and realize it. When you meet someone for whom you have deep love, you don't think at that time. Words may emerge, but simply as an expression of love and happiness. When we came in the beginning, we experienced this deep love. I am the soul inside. I am a form of light, a powerful light, so deeply embedded inside that I did not even know it. And the soul is doing all the work anyway. When you contemplate this aspect and become amazed by it, it is as if you awaken the energy of the soul. You realize yourself in that moment with the awareness, yes, this is who I am. I am that pure soul. This body is just a cover that one am wearing, in the same way as I might put on a costume. Once this love has awakened, you know that whatever you are, you have to experience this deeply hidden form. The self has to realize its own hidden self. Even to start thinking like this will bring happiness. And that happiness helps us to experience the incognito power inside. To sustain this happiness, we need to spend time in solitude, with the aim of experiencing our internal form. With this enthusiasm and interest, we take ourselves inside and contemplate the knowledge of the soul. We say the soul is light, but of course, light should be seen. And so is it that we have to look at ourselves as light inside? If you look at light, you are still looking at something that has form, but the insight we are receiving is that the soul is power. Peace, love, bliss, knowledge, everything is merged in this power, and that is light. When you experience this light, sitting in silence, you will experience a lot of happiness and your face will appear to be very cheerful. Anybody who comes in front of you will also feel that happiness. Asterisk, asterisk. You need to create the faith in yourself that this light is mine to experience. It is my inheritance from the Supreme Soul. It will then come easily. Otherwise, questions, and more questions. These arise due to reactions and habits developed in a world that lost sight of these truths, a world of darkness. When I am in the experience of the inheritance, there are no questions. So, I have to practice taking my intellect high up, aligning my understanding with God's understanding. My intellect has a habit of working by itself. Because there is then a mixture, realization does nor happen quickly. We have to carry out practical tasks, and the worldly knowledge and information we have our intellects is useful at those times. But when we are embracing this knowledge from the Supreme, we have to make effort to accept God's authority and to capture and understand His intention. At that time, we mustn't allow the intellect to raise questions. Even in an ordinary way, when you start to learn new knowledge, you can't mix the old with it. You have to accept it in the way it is given to you. Only then will you be able to understand and apply it fully. In the same way, when it comes to listening to God, it's important to understand deeply the intention that lies behind the words. Then it becomes easy for me to keep my intellect on the same track and experience the connection. We need deep love for the self and faith. Faith means that whatever God is telling me, I accept that as beneficial for me, because He is the great authority. And when I accept and act in that way, the authority accepts me, and I become master of all His treasures. Powers and virtues will continue to emerge inside me. This is not blind faith. We are the children of God, and God has such pure feelings for us that if we accept this love and love the Father in return, we are able to draw on all the Father's qualities. This subtle aspect is the foundation of Raj Yoga. If we understand how to make this link, the road starts to become clear for us, and positive experiences start to flow. Then it won't be a matter of having to control our thoughts, or of having to control anything. There will just be the feeling that this is a straight, clear road, and that to the degree that we remain on it, we will experience the Father. There needs to be a deep practice of soul consciousness, of going beyond the awareness of the body. I remember who I was originally, and how I forgot myself, and whose child I am now. Accept this knowledge with the same elevated feelings with which it has been given, and you continue to move forward. A child can never forget his father. Other influences may come, but make yourself remember again whose child you are. Pay that attention to yourself, immersing your intellect in these elevated understandings. Don't just remember the knowledge in the form of words. Go into the depth of that knowledge, and the thread of your thoughts will continue to become aligned with God's thread of thinking. That will help you stabilize in your original state and experience your original power. We can't understand these things simply by thinking about them. They begin to emerge automatically when our consciousness goes into deep contemplation. The soul is very subtle. You can't see it in any part of the body, and even when it has left the body, you can't tell where it has gone. So, imagine how powerful it is. Sit in the awareness. I am separate from this body, and see what joy emerges inside.